Hey guys, it's Danny. Today it is finally time to show you the former Discus tank, how it looks now, and talk a little bit about it, show you how I put it together, and towards the end of the video I'm gonna tell you why I gave up the... I'm gonna make a separate video actually out of it because probably it's gonna be a different topic and we're gonna make this video way too long. So today, let's just stick to this aquarium. I'm gonna tell you all about it, how it runs. We will first start with how I set it up, all of the products that I use, because I'm actually using some new products that I've never used before and I'm quite excited about it. And I think I'm having some good results. So I'm gonna tell you about that. This video is not sponsored in any way. It's just stuff that I find available and I decide to use, and pretty much that is it. So yeah, let's just start with that, and at the end, just talk a little bit more about the setup. Well, alrighty then. So my tank is an Aquarium OptiSet 240, which means 240 liters. You will have more specs on the screen. And by the way, the milky background you see in the back, it's actually a black background. Those are some soap suds. They're gonna go away in time. So at the bottom, I am starting with some lava rocks. And yeah, I had to go for a branded one, which costs 10 times more, but I did not find small lava rock in my area. I'm putting the lava rock in small mesh bags, just so it's easier to recoup. And the purpose of these is pretty much like an ADA aqua soil. They provide some circulation around the roots of the plants and also some more space for beneficial bacteria to colonize. They also raise the back, so they save up an aqua soil. Anyway, I've never used them, so I just wanted to try it out, see how it goes. Now, underneath the soil, I'm using Deponit Mix Professional from the Nedle. It is a nutritious layer which should be always placed under gravel, or in my case under soil. It looks like a sort of a sand, never used it before, and I heard good things about it, so I wanted to use it. In hindsight, I do believe I did not use enough because it was trickling through the lava rocks. It was hard to determine how much I actually added. And if I will redo this tank again, I will be sure to put a little bit more of this together with some root tabs because I think I need more. As for substrate, again, I'm using something that I never used before, but I heard good things. It's the Nedle Scaper soil, and because in my area I didn't find enough stock, I'm also using one bag of the Nedle shrimp soil, something like that. Judging by the description, they seem to be rather similar. If not, the shrimp soil is actually a little bit more acidic. It's not gonna hurt, so I had no choice but to mix them. Now, the scape. As always, I'm not good at hardscape, and honestly, I don't like rocks. The rocks that I used are just there to stabilize the pieces of wood, and I chose petrified wood because they do not alter the quality of the water. Here where I am, I have very hard water with high pH, so I really don't need stuff like serious stone or anything to contribute to the high pH and the hardness. So the rocks are just here to make sure that the wood pieces don't float, which happens a lot. And if I do redo the scape, I will not use the rocks because the wood would already be heavy and it would not float. I am not a rock person, I guess, in scapes. I'm not a good aquascaper, but I do love luscious plants. And wood is there simply because I can anchor plants on it. As far as planting goes, I'm not gonna bore you with how I actually plant them. I will show what plants I used. They're all pretty undemanding plants, and I would have preferred to stock this tank with a little bit more plants, but you know, what I have here will have to do for now. Time to add the water, and as I add the water, I'm also fixing my stand. Yes, one of the hinges is being naughty, so I'm readjusting it because the door is crooked and I cannot stand it. But eventually, the tank is full of water. This is actually the second day. Can you believe it? Where is the milky water? Where are the pieces of soil? Where's the tannin? It's nowhere to be found. Furthermore, the test shows that I do have some nitrate, but no nitrite. And yes, I know it looks a little bit pink, but that's because of the grow light. There was no nitrite, as you will see. And again, as you will see, there is no ammonia. So here I am doing some tests on the second day and not believing my eyes. The pH is 6. I did not add CO2 yet to this tank, and it dropped the pH from 8 to 6. And the nitrate is 5 milligrams per liter, I do believe. And nitrite is 0. which is unheard of for the second day, no water change. And also ammonium, 0. Again, unfathomable for the second day. Where is everything? Now I have a funny suspicion that the filter that I use with the Discus has something to do with it. However, I did wash the filtration medium thoroughly because it was full of medication. Not with bleach, but I did wash it at the sink. So there is a slight chance I do still have some nitrifying bacteria in the filter that are working, and that's why I have no ammonium. A few days in without any water change, no ammonium whatsoever. And for using aqua soil, that is really unheard of. So either my filter had something to do with it, even though I rinsed the heck out of the filtration medium, maybe some bacteria escaped my tap water, which is a high chance. Either the aqua soil from the Nedle does not leach ammonium. It's one of the two. I am planning to do another tiny scape with the Nedle Scaper soil because I'm in shock of the values that I recorded. I actually added fish like a few days later. Everything is okay. And I did not have any ammonia spike. I did not have any algae blooms. I did not have anything related to ammonium release or heavy nutrient release. All I had was nitrate. I did have quite a bit of that, did some water changes. The plants ate it up. Everything is okay. Fish are okay. But yeah, I'm very intrigued. Either the soil has no ammonium, either it does leach a little bit, but the bacteria were in high enough numbers to convert it. I don't know. It is to be determined, but it was very fun to test the aquarium, not believe my eyes. Right, so as I was saying, in a few days, I also added the fish. Now you see there are already a few guppies here that I had, and I'm also adding the, let's say, proper stocking for this tank, which is not going to be guppies. They're just living here for a little bit. I opted for some cardinal tetras. I have 24 cardinal tetras, and I also have 15 green neon rasboras. Then I also have some ram cichlids. I started with 2, but I upped the number to 6. I have 5 otocinclus and some snails, and that is about it on the stocking. It is absolutely magical to see all of these tiny fish in such a big tank. They have so much space to swim, to roam around, and it gives so much life to the tank, really. Righty, so here we are. Now the tank looks a little bit slightly still bare. I already trimmed the Rotella rotundifolia because it was growing pretty much everywhere, so I'm expecting some more compact growth, but it looks a little bit empty. Also the Pogostemon erectus doesn't grow very fast, as I noticed, so when I will probably redo the scape or rearrange it, I will make sure maybe to put it a little bit more in front because I don't need to trim it as often, so I can have the fastest growing plants in the back, so they're always a little bit taller, and the slower growing plants a little bit more in the foreground. I experimented a little bit. It has been a joy to scape this size of a tank, which I never did. I always had much smaller tanks than this, and it was quite a joy to scape it. I would have gone for more plants, but you know, the budget was what it was, and I'm very happy with what I have. In the future, I can always add plants to the setup. I'm always gardening in my scapes, even if at some point I decide, you know what, this plant doesn't sit well there, it should be more in front, or I don't like this plant in this setup, I'm gonna switch it with something else. I have no issue just uprooting it and putting something else there. Even if I have the sandwich type of substrate, I've never had issues. So it's okay with me, even if parts of the substrate under, you know, the aqua soil go up, it's fine. For me, I've never had issues. I don't shy away from doing that sort of stuff in the tank. And since I need to move, I might have to like disassemble everything. Anyway, we'll get to that. I'm also very happy with the CO2 system. It's been more than a month since I installed it. If you missed that video, I'll link it to it down below in the description. It's a baking soda and citric acid CO2 system, and I'm so happy with it. It's not even halfway depleted yet. I have more than half still in it, or at least pressure, and it's been more than a month. So I'm really, really happy with how everything is growing. The plants seem to have adequate CO2. Everything is going great. I'm really happy with it. Also very happy with the CO2 reactor, which I have a video on as well. I presented that one as well. Very happy. The only thing I'm not happy with is the filter. The only thing that I dislike in this setup right now is the filter, because it's very loud. And it's not loud because it makes trickling noises. That's fine, that's naturey. Somebody said I have too high standards. Well, at this price, I do have high standards. I worked for that money. It's double the price of any other filter on the market. I'm sorry, I will be picky with it. So, it's not the trickling of the water. That's nice, I like it. It's the hum. Is the Biomaster on? I don't know if my husband will let me keep this filter in the living room, but yeah. And the sound actually bounces off the wall and it sounds even worse here. The hum drives me insane. Sometimes I hear it in videos as well. I try to cover it with music, not working. And this aquarium will go in my living room. My husband will go mental. He will not stand this tank because of the filter. So the only thing I would change is the filter, because it doesn't, that compartment, the pre-filter, has no meaning now. I don't have as much dirt and stuff in this tank. When I had the Discus, yes, it was imperative that I cleaned it once a week, because the Discus were creating a lot of mess. These guys now, there's no mess. I looked at the pre-filter after a month and it was barely had stuff in it. The pre-filter has no more meaning for me anymore. So plans for the future, I think I will try to sell the Biomaster and get a different filter. Also, I'm not very happy with the heaters. They do not maintain temperature in the tank. The temperature fluctuates because the heater is not strong enough. I'm using a 400 watts heater on 240 liters aquarium. Minus decorations, 200 liters of water, a 400 watts. It consumes so much energy and it does not maintain temperature. I'm overheating or using a very powerful heater for the volume of the water, and it's not doing it. And it's not that it's a broken heater, because I exchanged it. Olibeta, which is my favorite shop, love their customer service. They sent me a new heater. Does the same thing. The heater is not broken. The heater is just not good enough. Sorry, it's just not. I don't know. I'm not trying to keep it at 28 degrees Celsius. I had issues with the Discus as well with the heater. I had to use multiple heaters to maintain temperature. I'm trying to have it at 23, 24 degrees Celsius, and it's barely doing it. It's barely keeping it. It is not warm in the room, but it doesn't go under 19, 18 degrees Celsius now in the room. So if the heater cannot lift the temperature, let's say from an ambiental of 19 degrees Celsius to 23, which is not a big difference, we have a problem. Yeah, so that's the only thing that I want to change, the filter. It's just not, for me, it's very loud and it's a little overrated for what I have now. Now the main filter of this tank are the plants. I might just go for a Tetra filter. It's always whisper quiet for me. I don't know how the new 1500 model is. I'm gonna look at the reviews. If you have it, let me know. But that's the quietest filter I've ever had, the Tetra filters, and they're half the price. So I might go for that. Right, let's move on from the filtration, because it hurts. It's very noisy. And it also purges air constantly from somewhere. All right, so the plants. I would have liked to have a little bit more plants, but I think it's decently planted for the budget that I had. I tried to go for plants that I've had in the past. I know they will fill the corners, like those ones in the corners. Hygrophila? Yeah, I think it's a Hygrophila corimbosa, because the tank has a 120 centimeter length and my LED tubes are just 1 meter. So I have some blind spots on the sides, And I did try to mount the lights alternatively, but I still have less light on the sides than I do have in the middle. So I put something there that I know can do well in lower light conditions as well. I'm not the happiest with the LED tubes because they don't have a homogeneous color throughout, but you know, it's fine, it works out. Plants will find a way. And what I have as plants are fairly easy plants. I don't have anything that is very rare or very hard to keep. They're fairly easy. They do look much better with CO2, nutrient substrates, and nutrients in the water mass. Absolutely they do, but they're not the hardest plants to grow either. In the future, if I ever have access to some more special plants, then I'll get them and maybe I'll replace some plants that I have here. But I will have to say, this aquarium brings me so much joy. I have missed the green garden so much, and I'm happy I took the decision to switch from the Discus to this because this represents me more. I had to try the Discus because it's been 20 years of me dreaming about them. It just didn't work out. I don't think they're for me because of the whole plant issue. As for the fish, typical tiny tetras, as you can see. I absolutely am happy about the Grignon rasboras. They're not always in stock here. I love them. I love these fish. They're just so beautiful. I'm happy to have a school of them. I also am happy to have the ram cichlids, which really are my favorite fish. They have been for the past almost 20 years, and I'll make a video about them and I will tell you a story about them that I've experienced that made me fall in love with them. I do have 6 rams here. I've never had more than 1 pair in a tank, but I've never had this size of a tank planted. I don't know if they're gonna get along as, you know, they age, they grow, and maybe they pair up. I don't know. For now, everything is okay. We'll see how it goes. It's just an experiment. I wanna have that experience to see if I can keep multiple rams in a bigger tank. And you know, the tetras, as I said, some otocinclus, some snails, no shrimps. No, the rams hunt the cherry shrimps, doesn't work out, and I'm not putting amanos. If you didn't know, amano shrimps, yes, they might be great algae eaters, but I don't have algae issues, one, so there's no need for them. And in absence of algae, they eat some plants. They like alternantheras. So no amano shrimps in my tanks, thank you. And that is the stocking. I also have 3 guppies here. They will not stay here. They will be moved. But that's the whole stocking, and I think it's a fairly balanced stocking to the amounts of plants that I have. That's why the filter is not overwhelmed, and that pre-filter has no more meaning right now in this setup because it really does not get dirty. And that is the tank in a nutshell, and I am very happy with it. I think I will stick to planted tanks. That's, I think, what represents me most, and yeah, try to do better and better with that. So this is the tank. My next video will probably be why I gave up the Discus, some final conclusions of that, so stay tuned for that as well. And with that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed hanging out with me and learning a little more about the tank. I hope to see you next time, and I hope you have a great day. I'll see you next time.